Hi, my name is Pat Wood. Today we're going to show you something very useful. We're going to show you how you can add your Microsoft Access dated information to the Outlook calendar as an appointment. And we're going to show you a very flexible way to do that. And so you can do it. You can use just about any type of data with dates, shipping dates, appointments, service scheduling, maintenance schedules, just about anything with dates can be sent over to the Outlook calendar. And it's very nice to have all of your information in one place in the Outlook calendar. You can look at your day and see what you've got coming up. So this can be very helpful. And now we use it with a button on a form. And this particular form has been set up to be an appointment. But you can use a form that's not set up that way. You may be able to use a number of your forms to do that, as long as they contain a date and the information that you want to send over to the appointment as well. Now we're going to uncheck this appointment in Outlook here. Because we're going to want to go ahead and click this button to send the appointment to Outlook, and let's see what happens. Okay, the appointment has been added to Outlook, and so that's how it works with just one button click. Well, how do we do that? We do it with our code, and so let's look at our code next. Here we have the beginning of the code, and it's regular button click event. We have the error code, normal error code, and we need that. We're going to save the current record before we begin, because we want what you see on the form to be sent to Outlook. Next, we're going to go ahead and make sure that this appointment's not already been added. That checkbox that we unclicked, we're going to check to make sure it's not been clicked, that it doesn't have a check in it, because if appointment's already added, we're out of here. We're going to exit the sub. We're going to inform the user and exit sub and quit the procedure. No need to hang around. But if it's not, we're going to go ahead and add an appointment. There's two different ways to do that through VBA code here, and automation, as it's called. Early binding and late binding. Early binding is when you have references already set up to reference the Outlook code library. Now if you'll look here, we don't see that here. We sent that appointment and we don't have a reference to the Outlook code library. The only way we could do that is through late binding. It also helps when someone else is using this code, and they may not have the same version of Outlook, and there's not a reference issue, and so it's very helpful. And this is how we would do it if we were using early binding. But we're using late binding. First thing we have to do is declare some object variables. We're going to declare the application as object. That stands for the Outlook application, and the appointment as an object. And then we're going to use a custom function to check to see whether or not Outlook is open. If Outlook is open, we use one method. If it's not open, we use another method to get an instance of Outlook. If it's not open, we use the create object method. If it is open, we use the get object method, and that way we avoid an error. And after we do that, then next we need to instantiate or create the Outlook appointment itself. And so we're going to set our variable here for the Outlook appointment to the Outlook application create item 1. Well, item 1 is the appointment item. And we can't use the OL appointment item as constant because we're using late binding, so we have to use the numbers. And you can find out about that in the object browser, what they are. Next, we're going to go ahead and begin to work with that appointment item since we've created it, instantiated it. With the appointment item, we're going to add, first of all, the start date. We're using NZ to avoid nulls, and that'll cause errors if we got nulls there. And so we have a start date, a start time. Now, you may not have a start date and a end start time. You may just have a start date. That's okay. You may not have an end date. It may be an all-day event, and you may not have an end time. So there varies sometimes as to what this is. Now in Outlook, the start and the end dates are all together in one field. The start date and the start time are one property. Same thing with the end date and time. It's all stored in one property in Outlook. But in Access, we've got it stored differently, so we can modify the date, modify the time, and set that. And we use NZ to make sure that we don't have an error. But what we do is we got to add these two things together into one, so we concatenate them by using these ampersands and the quotation marks there. And so that's what that is for. Next we go on, we set the duration property in Outlook, and whatever the length, we call it text appointment length. And you can name it your text box anything. It could be anything for the duration, depends on what you have in your setup. Then the subject, and that's what you see in Outlook Calendar, the thing you click on to open up the appointment. And so we add that on in, and we're using VB null string, uses a little bit less memory than the double quotes there. Then we're going to add the body, and that's where you have a lot of the writing there that goes in with it. And you can add all kinds of information from your database, and there you can concatenate several different things to go in there if you need to. So this is very flexible. And then the location to add into that, and after the location, we're going to set the reminders. If the reminder checkbox in our Access form is true, then we're going to make sure that there's some reminder minutes there. If not, we're going to add a value of 30 minutes to it. So then we're going to override the default, may be different in Outlook, and we're going to set those reminder minutes before start according to what we've got in our text box for reminder minutes. Then we're going to set the reminder set to true, which is a check box in Outlook, as a matter of fact, on their form. And then we're through with what we're done. We simply save what we've got. We finish our with statement, and we finish our if-then. Finish that up. We release our object variables from memory. And then we want to set that checkbox on the form to true that's been added to Outlook, because we don't want to send it there again. And once we've done that, we need to save it again. So that's what we do right here. Now we're going to inform the user with a message from the message box. You saw that pop up when we added our appointment to Outlook. If you didn't add that, the user wouldn't know what had happened. He'd have to open his Outlook calendar and look and see if that appointment was in there. But because our error code here did not notify us there was an error, but our message box said the appointment was added, we know that our appointment was added to Outlook. Now, if you want to download the code that we're using here and take a look at it and work with it, you can go to our website at gainingaccess.net, and you're welcome to download that, and there's other free samples there as well, and articles about Outlook and Access and building a dialog form for Access and Outlook. And if you need some help in setting this up for your company or your own private use or whatever, you can go to my website and contact me, and we'll talk about how we can help you, and very reasonable rate for that, and to get you going with that. Well, this is Pat Wood, and I've enjoyed sharing this with you today. Hope you get a lot of benefit out of it. Thank you.